Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a very specific, pretty high-intensity astrological moment. We're looking at November 12th, 2025,
Right.
a day where the energy, well, it's like the universe hands you a mental flamethrower.
That's one way to put it. It's definitely potent.
Yeah, it's packed with drive,
Yeah.
maybe some argumentative fire too. So we need to be smart, really smart about using it. Our mission today, a deep dive into our source material to figure out how to actually harness this powerful, action-oriented energy
Hmm.
without, letting it all spiral into communication chaos.
Exactly. And we're dealing with a really critical alignment here. The main event, the absolute focus, is Mercury retrograde meeting up with Mars, a very tight conjunction.
Okay, Mercury and Mars
Yes.
together.
So you've got the planet communication, thinking, messages, Mercury totally merged with Mars, which is all about action, drive, assertion.
Like thoughts and impulses are glued together.
Pretty much operating as a single unit.
Yeah.
But, and this is the big but, that unit is technically moving backwards because Mercury is retrograde.
Oof, okay, that sounds complicated. Like a powerful engine stuck in reverse, maybe.
Sort of, yeah. It creates this tension.
So if we boil down what our sources are saying, what's the core message? What's the thesis for the day?
It's pretty simple on the surface, but tricky to execute, basically. Big ideas want action, yet patience still helps.
Right.
You've got this blend of thought and, raw drive, but that retrograde, it's a massive speed bump built right into the impulse.
So you want to speak, you want to act.
Desperately. But the cosmos is kind of nudging you, saying, hey, check the rearview mirror first.
Okay, let's unpack this then. This specific blend, Mercury and Mars, with the retrograde twist.
What does it actually mean for, our words, our intentions day to day?
Well, the dynamic is intense. Our sources nail it, I think.
Yeah.
They say thoughts instantly become projectiles.
Projectiles, wow.
Yeah, they leave your mind with all that Mars force right behind them. Which means, look, words can instantly become weapons.
Or they can be incredibly useful, precise tools. It really depends entirely on the intention you've been carrying around, whether you realize it or not.
Okay, I get the intensity. But what's interesting, and you touched on this, is the retrograde part. This energy isn't really pushing us towards brand new things, is it? It seems focused on the past.
That's absolutely the crucial difference here. This is not the time for launching that new product or, writing a completely fresh mission statement.
Okay.
It's really about revisiting things. Old ideas, maybe old arguments that never got settled, plans you put on a shelf. You revisit them, but with this fresh fighting spirit.
So it gives you the guts to finally say something.
Exactly. It provides that internal courage to finally address what should have been said or maybe decided way back when. Think past frustrations, arguments that just fizzled out.
Or projects you just gave up on.
Yes. All that stuff can resurface now, and it feels like it's demanding action.
And that creates this really intense internal state that sources talk about. The feeling that being right feels like a moral imperative.
Oh, absolutely.
Like suddenly every conversation isn't just a chat, it's this potential crusade. You feel you have to defend your point, fiercely. Why so urgent?
That urgency, that's pure Mars. Raw drive. When it connects with Mercury, your mind just feels supercharged. Every thought seems like a vital, urgent truth that must be spoken.
Like if you don't say it now, you never will.
Precisely. But here's the really critical insight, the opportunity. If you manage it right, that intensity doesn't have to be destructive.
How? Because honestly, revisiting old fights with new conviction sounds like, well, a recipe for disaster, relationally speaking.
It can be, but think about it this way. These intense discussions, these potential confrontations, they're ultimately pointing towards practical changes. Things that actually need to be adjusted in your life, maybe your work.
Ah, okay. So there's a goal beyond just winning the argument.
Yes. The practical goal, if you can navigate the conflict carefully, is to get to firm decisions, to clarify your path forward. The universe is basically forcing an issue that got swept under the rug.
But getting to that clarity, making that firm decision, that needs some serious precision and self-control.
Incredible amounts. Which brings us smack into the retrograde warning. This leads right into our second point. The pitfalls of just acting on impulse.
Yeah.
Because if you unleash that Mars energy before the Mercury reflection is done, well, that's where you get chaos.
Right. Impulse control isn't easy here.
It's really not.
Yeah.
And the core caution from all our sources is simple, but man, is it hard to follow under this pressure? Say less. Mean more.
Say less, mean more. I get the principle, but isn't that almost impossible when Mars is just lighting this fire under your need to be heard? How do you even find the pause button when everything inside is yelling, go.
Hmm. That is the work of the day. That's the challenge. With Mercury retrograde mixed with Mars drive, it is dangerously easy to lose perspective, to lose sight of objective reality, or just go completely overboard.
Yeah.
The strongest tendency is towards impulsive responses, like hair trigger communication. This is the classic time when we're most likely to, you know.
Push your foot in your mouth.
Exactly. Because the words just launch before they're fully baked.
And you see that playing out socially, right? Debates get heated fast. They don't stay civil. The sources even say sarcasm becomes a contact sport.
Mm-hmm. It's like we're almost looking for a fight just to vent that inner fire.
So that search for conflict, that's the Mars shadow side.
It can be. People feel brave, right? They feel courageous speaking what they see as their truth, but it often comes out as just aggressive bluntness.
And that can land really badly.
Oh, totally. That blunt honesty gets easily misread as an attack. Or, flip side, we might see someone else's directness as a personal attack on us. It's just way too easy to ruffle feathers right now.
So difficult conversations, especially emotional ones, maybe just cable those for a week.
Probably wise, yeah. Avoid poking the bear if you can.
And this leads to maybe the most critical practical piece of advice, tied directly to the retrograde, the rule about making decisions too quickly, because you feel this immense pressure to do something now.
That pressure to act is the real danger zone. You feel this urgent need, maybe even a sense of clarity, pushing you to decide or sign something or start something new.
But don't do it.
But remember the golden rule of Mercury retrograde? Decisions made hastily now, and this RX lasts through the end of the month. Remember, often need to be undone.
Oh yeah. Revised, rescinded.
Completely abandoned later. This energy is fantastic for review, for getting insights, for planning your next move, but it is terrible for signing contracts, making huge external commitments, or, say, quitting your job in a blaze of glory.
Because you'll just be cleaning up the mess later.
You'll be doing damage control. Guaranteed.
Okay, so if we're told, avoid immediate external actions, sidestep difficult conversations, don't sign anything major, where does all this incredible, forceful Martian energy go?
Good question.
That shifts us nicely into the next part, right? The path towards insight and reflection.
Precisely. The guidance is to redirect that fighting spirit, turn it inward. So instead of crusading against someone or something out there, the real work is to have a forthright conversation with ourselves.
A forthright conversation with ourselves. What does that look like in practice? If Mars is the energy, are we fighting our own ignorance?
In a way, yes. You use the Martian energy for, let's call it, intellectual demolition.
Okay.
Use its force to really review your plans, tear down your old assumptions, maybe question your biases, build new, solid insights. It's not about planting new seeds right now.
It's about prepping the soil radically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Radical tilling, pulling out those deep-rooted weeds, maybe self-doubt, maybe some old deception you bought into that have been holding you back.
Okay, that gives a much clearer sense of the actual goal here. It sounds like the potential is actually pretty profound if you handle it right.
It really is. This period can spark some genuinely courageous truths, some really motivated actions. And it's a key but, they relate specifically to things from the past.
Like that project you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. If you had an old passion project, a manuscript you shelved ages ago, maybe a big life decision you hesitated on and then dropped, now's the time to dig it back up.
And the Mars energy helps you tackle it differently.
Yes. That sharp, sometimes aggressive perspective, which usually gets aimed outwards, can now be focused inward. It can turn that old frustration into actual forward movement by finally showing you why you stopped in the first place.
So it's not just about the idea itself, but understanding the force behind it, the drive, the history, the passion, or the reason it's stalled.
That is the ultimate goal here, realizing the truth that's just been waiting for you to embrace it, understanding why you acted or maybe why you stopped acting on something important before. That gives you the clarity you need to move forward properly once Mercury goes direct again.
So inner alignment first.
Inner alignment first, always.
Okay, to kind of ground this really powerful energy in the flow of the actual day, November 12th, maybe we should quickly touch on the moon. Because our emotional landscape isn't static, right? It shifts.
Absolutely essential point. The emotional vibe definitely changes through the day. We start the morning with the moon in expressive Leo, and it's squaring the sun.
Leo moon square sun. What does that feel like?
It means sensitivity can be really high, defensiveness too. Because our need for comfort, for feeling good about ourselves, that's Leo moon, is kind of clashing with our core purpose or ego, the sun.
So we might take things more personally, feel a need to posture a bit.
Yeah, exactly. A bit prickly,
And
perhaps.
the afternoon, does it stay turbulent?
It does, but the flavor changes. In the afternoon, that Leo moon squares Uranus.
Uranus, the planet of surprises and disruption.
Right. So the focus shifts towards authentic expression, sometimes explosively authentic, even if it means totally disrupting the status quo or maybe shocking people around you.
It's that need to be seen, be heard, consequences be damned.
Pretty much sums it up, yeah.
Okay, dramatic. And then, does it calm down as the day ends?
Hmm.
Or just shift again?
It shifts, thankfully. Tonight, the moon moves into organized, meticulous Virgo.
Ah, Virgo.
Yeah.
Different energy entirely.
Completely different. This sharpens our focus dramatically. It pulls us out of the emotional drama and pushes us towards analysis, details. Virgo reveals all the details that need attention.
So the day kind of moves from potentially dramatic self-expression and conflict towards quiet, critical review later on.
Exactly. If you absolutely must have a difficult conversation or review something contentious, maybe wait for that Virgo moon clarity later tonight. Review the transcript then, so to speak.
Okay, practical advice. Now,
Yeah.
here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Let's look at a human example. Our sources give us this great little story about Elias, the philosophy professor.
Ah, yes, Elias. He's the perfect illustration of this whole Mercury-Mars conflict playing out.
Tell us about it.
Well, his classroom, usually this, vibrant place for discussion and curiosity, it had apparently turned into an arena of verbal duels.
Sounds familiar for this energy.
Right. And he felt that restless urge we talked about, that overwhelming need to say something, defend his point, define things, make a decision right now. He noticed it everywhere, too, like the whole world was just misfiring messages.
But the story turns inward, doesn't it? It wasn't just about the classroom debates.
No, that's the key. It pivots on this moment of self-reflection for him. He was leading a debate, getting really into it, and then he suddenly realized his own voice. It had become sharp, proud, louder than necessary.
Oh, shoot, self-awareness hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily because he was defending some objective truth. He realized he was mostly defending his own ego. The real turning point, though, was seeing a student give this quiet, almost hurt glance.
An external sign of his internal state.
Exactly, an external sign of his impatience, his need to be understood rather than to understand.
And his big aha moment wasn't even about the student, ultimately. It connected back to something old, something abandoned.
That's the retrograde magic right there. He suddenly remembered this manuscript he'd abandoned years ago. The title, The Language of Intention.
Whoa. Okay.
He'd given up on it because he got frustrated. How do you write about deep meaning without language itself distorting it? He basically got impatient with the whole process.
And that connected to his classroom behavior.
How? He realized the core issue was the same. He'd been so desperate to be understood externally by his students, by potential readers, that he'd never actually paused to understand himself, his own real intention behind the words.
Wow.
He hadn't listened to that quiet voice inside that asks for honesty, not for justification.
That's a powerful lesson for today. Communication isn't just filling the airwaves.
Not at all. It's about giving space for what could be heard. That's why Mercury, the messenger, is also the trickster, right? Words reveal, but they also conceal, they heal, or they wound. And it depends so much on the listener's readiness, but maybe even more on our own readiness to listen to our intent before we even open our mouths.
So Elias, by pausing, by internalizing that Mars force, instead of just blasting it outwards, he gave everyone, including himself, the space to actually hear. The heat died down.
Exactly. And the big realization, the nugget of wisdom here, is that firmness, that Mars strength and kindness, the mercurial reflection and care, they can coexist. They can actually work together to build shared goals.
The intensity is needed.
The Mars intensity is necessary. It gives us the courage to look at what's broken, to address things. But the retrograde reflection demands we use that intensity with humility, with patience. Otherwise,
Just hot air and fighting.
precisely, just conflict for conflict's sake.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener, navigating November 12th?
Well, the bottom line is this. That high-octane energy of the day, it's best spent listening. Listening for what lies hidden beneath the surface of the words, both your own words and other people's.
Well, the goal isn't winning the debate.
No. The goal is internal understanding, especially about those old projects, those old conversations, those intentions you might have abandoned, the knowledge you gain from that self-reflection today. That's what's going to stick around long after this planetary alignment passes.
That makes sense. The insight lasts longer than the transit.
Exactly. And if we look at the deeper wisdom in our sources, there's this beautiful line. Truth doesn't shout to be heard. It waits quietly for the noise to subside.
Mhm.
Your job today, really, is to help the noise subside. Inside yourself, first and foremost.
Which leaves us with a final thought, something provocative for you to carry into the rest of your day. It builds right on Elias's realization.
Go for it.
Okay, if you deliberately stopped using words entirely for the next hour, like no emails, no texts, no arguments, just quiet, mindful silence.
Yeah.
What truth about your own intention, your deepest drive, maybe something you've been avoiding? What truth would finally have the space to speak?
Focus on that internal answer. Find that quiet space. Until the next deep dive.
We'll see you then.